There once lived a king and queen in an old castle. One snowy night, the queen was sewing a bonnet. She pricked her finger with a needle. When she saw 3 drops of blood, she made 3 wishes. May my daughter have hair as black as the night, she said. May she have skin as white as snow, and may her lips be as red as blood. Soon after, the queen had a daughter. She was as white as snow, so they named her Snow White. Snow White grew up to be beautiful, but sadly the queen died and the king remarried. The new queen was also beautiful, but she was also very vain. She often looked into her magic mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" And the mirror always answered, "You, my queen, are the fairest in the land." But one day the mirror answered the queen, "You, my queen, are beautiful, but Snow White is more beautiful than you." The queen turned pale with anger. She called her woodsman and said, "Take Snow White into the woods and kill her. I never want to see her again." The woodsman took Snow White into the forest, but he did not want to hurt her. "Please don't kill me," begged Snow White. "I will not hurt you," he said. "Find somewhere to hide. Do not return to the castle. I will tell the queen you are dead." Then he left her. Poor Snow White wandered through the woods. The sounds of the wild beasts frightened her, but the birds protected her, and they brought her berries and nuts to eat. It was almost dark when she found a little cottage. "Hello? Is anyone home?" she called, but no one answered. The door was unlocked, so she went in. "Those 7 beds are very small. The table is set for 7. I wonder who lives here." She was very hungry, so she picked a little piece of food from each plate. Then she drank a little juice from each glass. She felt tired and sleepy. "Which of the beds is the most comfortable?" she asked herself. She tried them all. The 7th bed was perfect. So she lay down and went to sleep. Before long, the 7 dwarfs returned from their work. When they entered the cottage, they knew something was wrong. "Who sat in my chair?" said Doc, the leader of the dwarfs. "Who ate off my plate?" said Sleepy. Then he yawned. "Who picked at my bread?" said Dopey. "Who touched my spoon?" said Sneezy. "Achoo! Achoo!" "Who used my fork?" said Happy. "Who cut with my knife?" whispered Bashful. "Who drank my juice?" said Grumpy. "Oh, look! There's someone in my bed." They all crowded around Snow White. "What a lovely child she is," said Happy. "Shh! Don't wake her." The next morning, Snow White told them her story. They felt sorry for her. The queen thought Snow White was dead. She believed that she was now the most beautiful woman. in the world. One day, she looked into her mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" But it had a surprising answer. "You, my queen, are beautiful, but Snow White is more beautiful than you." The jealous queen was shocked. How could Snow White still be alive? "I must kill Snow White," she cried. She dressed herself as an old gypsy. Then she went to the dwarf's cottage. "Pretty ribbons for sale," she called. Then she knocked on the door. Snow White looked through the window. "It's just an old gypsy woman," she thought. So she unlocked the door. "What colors do you have?" asked Snow White. "Here's a pretty red ribbon for your dress," the old gypsy answered. "Let me tie it for you." "You're very kind," said Snow White. She tied the ribbon around Snow White's waist, but she tied it too tight. Snow White could not breathe. She fell to the ground. "That's the end of your beauty," cried the wicked queen, and she returned home. Luckily, the 7 dwarfs returned early that evening. They found Snow White lying beside the door. She was pale and breathless. They lifted her up and cut the ribbon. Gradually, she began to breathe more easily. Then she opened her eyes. She told them what happened. "The gypsy was really the queen," said Doc. "Remember, do not open the door to anyone." When the queen arrived home, she went straight to her mirror. She again asked it the same question, and again it answered, "You, my queen, are beautiful, but Snow White is more beautiful than you." Again, she was angry. "How can she still be alive?" she screamed. "She couldn't breathe when I left her." So, the next day, the queen disguised herself as an old woman. She took a poisoned comb with her. She again knocked on the cottage door. "Fine combs and brushes for sale," she called. "I cannot open the door," said Snow White. "Look at this pretty comb," said the old woman. "It will look lovely in your hair." "I'll pass it through the window for you." But when the comb touched Snow White's hair, she fell to the ground. "Now, lie there forever," screamed the evil queen. Then she hurried away. When the dwarfs returned that evening, Snow White was still laying on the ground. "The queen poisoned her," cried Doc. "Look, there is a strange comb in her hair." When he removed it, Snow White woke up. She promised again to keep the door and windows locked. That night, the queen asked her mirror the same question, but again it gave her the same answer. She screamed and shook with anger. "Snow White must die," she cried. She dressed herself as a farmer's wife. Then she poisoned a red apple. She hurried to the dwarf's cottage and knocked at the door. "I can't open the door," said Snow White through the window. "Let me give you this tasty apple," said the farmer's wife. "No," shouted Snow White. "I can't take it." But the queen was clever. Only one side of the apple was poisoned. "What are you afraid of?" she said. "Look, I will take a bite." Now Snow White believed the old farmer's wife. But as soon as she took a bite, she fainted and fell to the ground. "This time, nothing will save you," screamed the evil queen. When she arrived home, she asked the mirror the same question. "You, my queen, are the most beautiful in the land," it replied. She was delighted. That evening, the dwarfs returned and found Snow White. They thought she was dead. "She is too beautiful to be buried in the cold ground," sobbed Grumpy. "We will make her a glass coffin," said Happy sadly. "Then we will place it on the hill," cried Sleepy quietly. "We will watch over her," said Doc. One day, a prince was riding in the forest. He saw the dwarfs around the glass coffin. He fell in love with Snow White at first sight. "Please let me take her with me," he begged the dwarfs. "We will not part with her," said Doc. But they felt sorry for the prince. They finally agreed to give him the glass coffin. The prince's servants picked up the coffin, but one of them tripped over a rock. The glass coffin crashed to the ground. A piece of the apple fell out of Snow White's mouth. Then she opened her eyes. "Where am I?" "What happened?" asked Snow White. "You are safe now," said the prince. "I love you. Will you be my wife?" "Yes, I will," answered Snow White. On the day of the wedding, the evil queen again asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" But to her surprise, the mirror answered, "You, my queen, are beautiful, but the prince's wife is more beautiful than you." When she heard the answer, she screamed. Then she began to choke and suddenly died. Snow White and the prince had many children. The 7 dwarfs became their godparents, and they all lived happily together forever.